I'd like to give you an idea of the kinds of things we rely on in doing this research. One of the early books that completely changed the course of our study was Terry Jones' Barbarians, and this is on Netflix too. It gives the view from those whose lands were conquered by the various empires. I'd like to mention too Spencer Wells' study. He's a geneticist from Stanford. The Journey of Man, a Genetic Odyssey, in which he took DNA samples of people along the major immigration routes. That is available on YouTube. On sites at the museums and archaeological digs, we get books such as these that talk about local sites and their significance. This is a book by a Stanford professor, Christopher Krebs, who discusses Tacitus and his capacity in writing for specific emperors and telling a story that they wanted to have told. Books like these we get along the way too, dealing with specific people and circumstances that we're looking into. This is the story of the Cathars who were in Carcassonne, and a crusade was launched against them. Promised Lands talks about Belgium. A noble pursuit is key to our research. The Duchess of Mecklenburg, before World War I, started discovering Hallstatt-era artifacts in Slovenia. Harvard University's Peabody Museum now has the largest part of her collection that is in the U.S. This book was published by Harvard Press and talks about the thousands of artifacts that she found before archaeology was pretty much shut down because of the two world wars. Jumping to the 15th century, Christine de Pizan is a hugely important author who wrote about the treatment of women vis-a-vis the church in the 15th century. Along those lines, too, is a Stanford professor who wrote this book about her quest to find tapestries that had been long lost but known. And this is a beautifully illustrated and written book. Books like these give an idea of the symbolism and the design that was characteristic of both Celtic and medieval worlds. A book that we were able to find at Alesia at the archaeological dig talks about the importance of looking at names. These are old Celtic names that still are all over Europe. Simple things like the Celts gave very descriptive terms to places: high, low, convergence of rivers, hayfield. Those kinds of names still come through, sometimes translated, sometimes not. Names ending in IA, words like Carcassonne, Bohin. These are all Celtic words and it indicate a lot of Celtic history potentially in these areas.